Okay, Dave. So RDT, for those that don't know, and you just said to remind me, Racecourse Data Technologies. So
Yes.
that all sounds very, well, it was because the bookmakers that mostly were clueless. So you guys were there to help out if anything went wrong. They needed a till row.
Well, it was all new then, because we were competing against Betlink, who had moderate software, and
Were they the Wacom people?
yes, yeah,
And Wacom being a big board with all the
press
sort of
buttons
tap,
like
yeah,
kiddies keyboard.
yeah, yeah.
Dermot Desmond bought Winning Odds from the Rylands, Australian firm that came over with the DOS-based system.
And that's where John Lover got it from Australia, wasn't it,
yeah,
originally?
Yeah. And at the inception of RDT, it was put up a solid wireless network and allow connection to BetDAC, his betting exchange. So it was a tool to sort of promote his betting exchange over Betfair, and convince bookmakers to come along and take their hardware and software. And we were very good at it. We put up a network that was more stable than anything anyone had ever seen before. We had the hardware that was good, and gradually, sort of, well, continually brought it forward along with the time. So it was always cutting edge, even to this day.
Because we've jumped a fair bit here, haven't we, thinking about it? Because when the bookmakers' computers came on course, powered by car batteries, powered up with that, it was just to print bets out and record the bets.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big elephant in the room, which we all know now, was Betfair coming in, and the bookmakers using exchanges. You, if I remember rightly, were one of the Arbin firms at one point.
Yeah.
So that was another. Tell us about the Arbin, because it was. I know you lot used to make money, but I know that also Joe Perry, who was a very good form judge, would quite happily go a pip above the exchanges if he didn't fancy one to get it in early.
There were many.
He knew that you guys would be there to.
Yeah.
So tell us about the art, because that's something that doesn't exist anymore.
No,
but it could do again now, couldn't it?
I mean, it can do on to a lesser extent. Some bookmakers,
Tim Brown, people like that,
still
bigger
do
than the
go
exchanges.
above.
Yeah.
But you'd back a horse at 10-1, so you'd have £500, 5,500, and at the same time on the exchange you would lay 4,500 to 500. So you've got 500 to nothing. You don't risk losing any money, and all you can do is win. And you do that enough times, you just, you win. No risk, plenty of reward. So that's the hard thing. You've got to bet a horse that's bigger than you can lay it.
But there was Colin that used to come, and me driving around in a bloody sports car on the back.
Big
There was, and it went on for quite a long time. And people were betting bigger than the machine on course, laying it back to the machine. So you got 500 nothing, something you've bet bigger than the machine.
Yeah.
So how long was that sort of going on under the radar, do you think, before bookmakers thought, hang on, we're coming second here?
Yeah, it went on for quite a long time.
It did, didn't it? It did.
Good few years. Yeah, plenty of people got good money out of it.
Yeah. So how come you were always at the cutting edge of everything then? What was your? Cause I remember I forgot about you being there.
You see the angles and you just exploit them.
Yeah. And it's somebody that everybody knows. Oh, it's only Swampy. It's not only Swampy like that, but it's Swampy. He's got, give him the bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you do it as your own little operation, or were you working for somebody and getting a share or wages, or what was the?
I did it in a small way for myself. So yeah, I was quite happy to play my own game. Although we did do it quite a lot with High Rise. That was part and parcel.
Up off the stool and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of I do remember the dismissal of, what does it matter what it says on the internet, this is my price.
Yep. Yeah. We know better than the internet.
That used to happen. And also the other thing was that, to begin with, the comedy scenes where you have somebody on the telephone.
Yeah.
What price is it now? And they've been daydreaming or something. Yeah, it's going. What do you mean it's going? We've just laid so-and-so. So that was, when did the actual internet Wi-Fi and all that sort of come in, the bookmakers had it on their computers? Was that when you were with?
That was when I was with Betlink. It was Betlink that were the first to join racecourse bookmaker software to the internet, to Betfair.
Because they did try to ban it at one point, didn't they? And there were comedy scenes again where the bookmaker would wander off with his telephone to his mate in the car park or whatever.
Yeah. They didn't want it. Bookmakers definitely, a lot of them did not want it, but it's progress. Things change.
I did notice that a lot of the ones that didn't want it were the first ones to embrace it, chasing the reps around the ring and all that sort of thing.
And the rest of them got out the game.
Yeah.
Sold up.
So, right, we're going to talk about your punting. Now, right, you went through the card. You had a fairly good start. You went through the card for 50p's at Bradbury Rings.
Yeah.
But how long have you been taking it seriously?
20 odd years. Yeah.
Since you got off the bus,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well, no, even longer. It was when I started with Dad. We were privileged to receive a bit of decent information from a yard. Yeah.
Yeah. So has your success been? Because I remember you getting marks, but we all never found out when you were IIing them. Thanks for that, Dave. Form and figures, lively information, or a bit of both?
Bit of both.
So tell us a bit about your angle.
Speed figures I discovered from a man called Adrian Massey, who did a service called Hoof Ratings. He was kind enough to give you the ratings if you gave him a donation to his favoured charity. So 50 quid, free access to Hoof Ratings. And he would have analysed speed figures for every horse, and then he would delve deeper and put stars against them. So you look through the ratings, we've got a 5-star, 25 to 1. Well, that's wrong. And his strike rate was frightening. I think it was so frightening that I'm sure the firms persuaded him to retire, because he did, and suddenly they'd gone.
That's when the going stick was accurate, wasn't it? And they should tell the truth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I assume that was all online then. So how did you discover that? You must have been fairly under the radar for it to have been profitable.
It was. He had a limited amount of people that he would subscribe, and yeah, I found it it was a free day for Hoof once, and there it was online, downloadable, every day of the week for nothing, pretty much.
Somebody must still be getting those ratings.
Oh,
if they are, can they give Dave a ring?
Yeah, I wish. There are many people that have been looking for them since his step back from publicising them.
Did you ever use those other ratings that everybody used to get?
I use ratings these days.
What were the ones that everybody used to get them? They cost a score at 9 o'clock. Anyway, obviously not. They finished as well. I mean, there were people suicidal about that too. So, Adrian Massey's form figures went.
Yeah.
Have you turned it in now? Or are you still?
No. I found there's several that exist now. There's Rating the Races. They're meant to be quite good. A friend of mine uses them.
Yeah, I know. Liam, one of the guys that runs that.
And I use Inform. Ian. Can't remember his name. Don't shoot me in. But they're a paid-for service. Again, I discovered those they used to do a free Friday, and I backed 4 winners at Sandown on a Friday, straight off the figures, and I thought it'd be rude not to sign up. So I paid the £79 a year. Gradually it's crept up to, I pay £99 a year now, but new subscribers, you won't get that deal.
No, so if you want to Inform racing, you can Google that and join the party and ruin everybody's value if too many of you do, I suppose.
The amount of information that you can get from that site is amazing. You can get such depth of form figures that gone are the days of reading through Sport in Life, the Racing Post, and delving back into watching races, although I do watch a few races still when I really do like one.
So how much how many hours in the day would you bet every day, or only when you go in, or what would be your?
I don't bet every day.
Do you study for every day?
I've got a couple of preloaded systems on Inform. You can save your own system, and in the morning I will always click load my decks, and if there's a bet there, I will back it. Otherwise, I might look, I might not. It depends how I'm feeling. I tend to look a lot on the all-weather. I spend more time looking at the all-weather than anything else.
So you're not a slave to them then?
Not a slave, no. I did it for 2 or 3 years, and it would be, to do a card, one all-weather card, it would be 2 hours.
Right, okay. So everybody likes to hear about people winning. I know you've had a few memorable touches in the past. Make us all jealous.
Oh, probably the best one, the one me and Dad all still talk about to this day, is a horse called Rex to the Rescue. It left Martin Pipe because he couldn't get it to win. Ran in snatches. It would run and slow down, run, slow down, snatches. So went to Robert Olner, and we got the word that he had it right, and it was sweet and would run very well. At the time, Dad and I had been going racing for 3 or 4 weeks. We could not win. Just could not get a win in the book. So it was one-way traffic. We had the option of going to Newton Abbot on a good day, or this horse Rex was running at Kempton. So we went to Kempton, drove all the way up there, 3 lines of books in tats and a silver ring, 25 to 1. We bet it with every bookmaker, even Dick Naylor, who turned me down on the first round. Dad went in and had 16 tenors just before the off.
Didn't ask for the fractions?
No, he had 20 quid left in his pocket. He had a tenner with Dick Naylor. He ummed and ahed about having the last tenner on the tote because they were showing 50. He thought he'd better keep it in his pocket in case we needed fuel on the way home. We had £450 win only on it, and it led from pillar to post. We collected the money, went back to the car. This was the second race at Kempton, so we didn't stay. Chucked it on the footwell. I started counting it as we drove home. Got home. His wife, my girlfriend, went, "It's an easy game, this," as we plonked a chunk of cash on the table. Yeah, that was a memorable day.
Any others that spring to mind?
Cool Dawn, when it won the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
We backed that religiously at every point to point, even when Dido Harding did an erroneous circuit. Barbary Castle? Did Martin. She went left and of course went right. She did a circle, still won. So we started backing that in November. 33s with Vickers in Yeovil. William Mills accommodated us at 25s. We had plenty on it. And it got beat at Ascot the run before, so the price went out again on the day, 25.
Yeah, man, I remember Andy Smith was on it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, the word got out, and Andy had a touch on that. Probably more than we did.
So you're still enjoying working on course, I assume?
Yes, yeah, I love it. I don't have to go a great deal. Privilege of working for a very, very, very nice gentleman. But yes, I really enjoy it. Even when it's cold, wet and miserable, you can get a buzz.
Yeah, it's in the blood, isn't it? Do you think if it all went tits up, you could punt for a living? Has it ever been an option for you?
It's easy to say that one feels one should be able to make it pay. The problem nowadays is actually getting on. Either you drive around the country getting on, or you get your accounts closed. Professional punters should win potentially 10%. So you have to turn over $500,000 a year to earn 50 grand tax free. So yes, it would be lovely to, but it's one of those that's a difficult step to take. Yeah.
So talking of steps, last question. What's on the horizon? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Is there anything else you fancy having a pop at?
No, I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. Obviously, Dad will retire at some point. I think that he's done his last point-to-point season, he told me, so I'll be having to do a few of those next year. We're going to keep them, that's for sure. Don't want to give them up. And he has racecourse pitches, so that's my pension.
Is it still going to be Jim Clarke or will it be Swampy?
No, it'll still be Jim Clarke. Jim Clarke Dorset.
With an
For
E.
anyone on the racecourse who wants to go and get a fair bet.
Yeah, Jim Clarke with an E, as always used to say when he rang up to
Yeah, Clarke with an E.
Anyway, Dave, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking to us, and thank you very much.
Cheers, Simon.